Venus, the planet that brings things and people together, will conjoin Uranus, the planet that changes, innovates, and shakes everything up at 10:57 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, June 11th. Expect to see revolution in love, art, and beauty. Let's talk about this in more depth and break it down for each sign. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. You can follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at Anastasia Does Astrology. I also do readings. If you'd like to work with me, there's a link down below. And please subscribe if you're new here. Leave me a comment or a like. I really appreciate all of your support. So this conjunction happens on Saturday, June 11th at 10:57 p.m. Eastern. And in order to talk about it and understand it, we need to first understand what is Venus and what is Uranus. Venus is the planet of love. It describes what we attract, what we desire. Venus has the magnetic power to draw things in, dependent on her placement in our chart, and she does so based on the sign she's placed in. So she glues things together, right? She's kind of very much about bringing things together. Uranus is compared to, or in Greco-Roman myth, is connected to Prometheus, the rebel, the innovator, very unique, someone who stole fire from the gods, brought it down to earth. So Uranus is unpredictable. Uranus is electric. It's like a lightning strike in the middle of the day. So there will be lightning strikes in the area of your chart that is Taurus, because both planets are in the sign of Taurus. And just overall revolution, changes, surprises in love, relationships, business matters, and values, as well as like beauty and our idea of beauty. Venus will square Saturn right after, not right after, but 7 days later on the 18th, which feels very much like something happens, you get excited about something, you get this new idea, you get experimental, you maybe feel like, on the very negative, this could be like a knee-jerk reaction of like, I need to get out of this relationship, I'm done. Or maybe you meet someone and you're like, this is the person I want to be with right now, but then it squares Saturn and your impulses get checked. Saturn is like, well, is this the real thing? Or were you just driven by the moment and made this mistake? So your desires will get checked. Make sure you're not overindulging. Make sure you're not breaking the bonds of marriage in order to follow something that will get you into trouble, right? Like, make sure you're sticking to what truly matters to you and sticking to people you really care about. So this looks, overall though, Venus is in Taurus. Venus rules Taurus. So it looks more positive than negative, but there's always a chance that, like I said later, especially in the square with Saturn, Saturn is also going to be very strong, and Saturn is in the overpowering position. So Saturn kind of has more say when it comes to that square. So still, just make sure you're not like overdoing it, overindulging and pursuing things that maybe are greedy and just for you, but don't serve other people. This happens at 16 degrees, 52 minutes of Taurus. So you will especially strongly feel it if you have planets around 14 to 20 degrees of fixed signs: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And like if it is right next to your moon, for example, maybe there's major changes happening in your home. Maybe your mom goes through some kind of transformation. Maybe she comes out as a lesbian and introduces her friend Judy as her future wife, Judy. If that is happening in your life, please share your story in the comments below. But let's quickly break down some of the Venus-Uranus significations. I was listening to Nightlight Astrology podcast about this a while ago, and Atuda Bava compared this conjunction to the Burning Man festival because literally, the unique beauty, throwing a festival in the desert, like everything is sort of rebellious and very different, very quirky, unique. So that kind of applies. So Uranus, like I said, is a rebel, right? Uranus is a lightning strike. So there's going to be challenges to what you consider normal and what you consider beautiful. And that will show up in creativity and art and dating. So something you used to like, something that even, let's say you always eat the same chocolate. Suddenly Venus conjoins Uranus and you're like, but I want to try salted caramel chocolate. Something that before you were like, oh, I hate it. Or, you know, in my case, it's like, I don't like pumpkin. So maybe suddenly I'll be like, oh, pumpkin, so appealing. Although it doesn't seem like people indulge into pumpkin so much during not Halloween season. So of course, Venus deals with relationships. So this will show up in relationships through a desire of something new, a desire of freedom. You or your partner may seek to be free, may seek to pursue things that you feel excited about, may seek to experiment in a relationship. So as always, Uranus is connected to breakdowns or breakthroughs. If a relationship feels very stifling to you, if you feel like you've outgrown the relationship, Venus conjunct Uranus might just be that like feather that breaks the camel's back. And the relationship ends. If you love your partner, but things felt kind of stagnant, this could be a rebirth of your relationship. Like, you know, suddenly the fire gets reignited. It's kind of like Uranus is kind of like a defibrillator, hard word, but like you're trying to revive things and either they get like, they come back to life and get another chance, or they're dead, you know, like you cannot really, it's like, it's the moment that you see things for what they are, or like you kind of test the waters, and realize whether it's worth keeping it or not. So other things Uranus may bring is like attraction. Like I said, your norm gets tested. So you may get attracted to someone new, someone you normally don't go for. Maybe they are of a different culture. Maybe they are, normally you only go for like really tall people, and then suddenly you're like into someone who's very short but very funny maybe. So sudden, unique attractions, romance that shows up out of the blue, may not last very long, but, you know, kind of exciting. Maybe someone who's very much outside of your norm. Sexual experimentation, sexual renewal, being more open-minded, being more curious, being more willing to try new things for sure. Different tastes, like, you know, like different tastes for beauty, different tastes in shopping. Maybe you spend money on something that normally you would never spend. Something like, be careful that you're not buying something that you will never wear. Could be wonderful for creative individuals, because this could be the moment when, if you felt stuck, suddenly, like, you know, you get an idea and maybe you make a video that gets you like a ton of attention. Basically, the more you can try something different, the more you can experiment, the more luck likely will come to you, especially when it comes to creative projects. Venus deals with beauty. So sometimes there might be also a pull to go and get some kind of exciting new beauty procedure, or color your hair purple, or color your hair some unique style, or get like a very different haircut. That's a possibility here. Just make sure you're not gonna do something that you cannot undo. Like, I don't know, get like a full body tattoo. Your body, your choice, but just make sure it's truly your choice and you're not just, you know, in the swing of things, in the moment, feeling like that's a good idea. And other than that, definitely like revolution in art. I'm gonna be very curious to see if there is some like exciting technological thing coming out, like a new, I don't know, a new cool watch, or like a sneaker that can fly. Wouldn't that be cool? What is that Back to the Future movie is when that showed up. Another more negative side of this transit is that like desire to rebel when you perhaps don't have a reason and everything is okay. So it could be, right? Like sometimes it's a sign that you really need freedom and you feel stifled, but it's likely something that would have been building for a while, and deep within your heart, you know that it's the truth, but watch out for just like the tendency to cut and run because something feels boring, because maybe it's not, maybe it's just, maybe you just need to, like, I don't know, travel with your partner or go salsa dancing or something like that. So let's take a look at all 12 signs and see what are some possibilities here. For Aries rising, this conjunction takes place in the second house. And second house is your money. It's your values. So there might be a reinvention financially. Maybe you get some exciting new idea about making money, some new way of doing business. There might be a financial opportunity coming your way. There might be exciting news about money. Maybe you get like a bonus. Maybe you decide to make an investment into something Uranian that, you know, like Meta or NFTs. Clearly, I don't know what that is. Maybe I'm missing out. Yeah, like you decide to invest into something that possibly unique and can be great for you. There might be a reconfiguration of values where you are rethinking what is important to you, and maybe things that used to matter to you don't anymore. Venus will square Saturn a little bit later, and Saturn is in your 11th house. So this new money-making opportunity, this like financial change or change of your values will get tested against the social norms, against your overall life philosophy or your overall goals, and as well as like the expectations of society. So maybe like, let's say your job, let's say with this conjunction, you decide to be like a medicinal weed dealer or something, or like you decide to go for a career choice that is not fully approved by people in your life. So there might just be like a little bit of that, and questions of like, how much do you want to do what you want to do, and how much does it matter to you what people think. For Taurus rising, Venus conjoins Uranus in the first house. So you embody this conjunction. You are the rebel, you are the innovator. You may change your style and dress very uniquely, or go for some kind of piece of clothing, buy something, change your look, right? You're also breaking away from the old. You are reinventing yourself. You are redefining yourself. You are being the Uranus in a sense, right? Like you are being the one who may be shaking the world up and bringing the awareness to topics that are important, or you are taking a stand for something that matters to you. You're like embracing the new role. And later in the month, on the 18th, Venus will square Saturn in the 10th house. So your style, your desires, your revolution will get tested against your professional duties, against your status in the world, and people in the position of authority. Let's say you are trying to, I mentioned this before, but it just feels like a good example. Like, let's say you're trying to become a doctor, but you're trying to become a musician, but your mother really thinks you need to be a doctor because that's more solid. So a little bit of that, right? Like you're kind of, be careful you don't cut all the ties, and maybe listen to what the wise Saturn has to offer. Of course, sometimes Saturn can just feel like it blocks you, doesn't allow you to be yourself, but there might also be a wise lesson in the Saturnian seemingly oppressive notion. So just, pay attention to what Saturn has to say later, and don't make any drastic changes. I wonder too, for Taurus risings, if there's any sudden new beginnings or sudden things connected to romance, just because Venus in the first house opposes your 7th house, and houses often work as a dyad. Is that the word? Yeah, like the two of them work together as an opposition. For Gemini risings, Venus conjoins Uranus in the 12th house. 12th house deals with losses, with self-undoing, with habits that don't serve you. So for Gemini risings, this conjunction might be a sudden moment of enlightenment where you realize something about yourself, something about the way you're thinking about things, things you're telling yourself, things you believe in, or things you ingest both literally through substances and more, spiritually, things that you listen to. Maybe you realize that there are certain things that no longer serve you and you have a desire to break free from it. You have like a desire to break away, as well as a desire to break away from anything that limits you somehow, anything unhealthy. And then there might be breakthroughs in therapy, right? There might be some kind of like dreams that are significant, insights, messages coming to you through all these different channels. And I wonder if there's something that has been holding you back, something from the past that you realize that, no longer holds as much like weight over you. And maybe this deals with a career too, maybe this deals with travel. But then Venus will square Saturn in your 9th house of legal matters, travel, publishing, education, faith. So there might be a bit of a conflict between your new understanding and your new beliefs, like your new pursuits versus the doctrines, versus the norms and the philosophies. Or possibly there's some like legal matters you have to deal with. Let me know if this resonates, or when this conjunction happens, how you feel in the comments below. For Cancer rising, Venus conjoins Uranus in the 11th house. So there might be 11th house deals with social media. It deals with your fans and your following. So with this conjunction, there might be something exciting happening to you on social media. There might be a revolution of your goals. Something you used to pursue no longer feels exciting, and you set like a very new ideal for yourself that you're willing to go for. There might be breakthroughs and breakdowns around friendships. Maybe you feel like a certain dynamic, certain relationship is holding you back, and maybe it's time to let that go. There might also be an attraction to unique people and unique friendships, like joining a biker gang, for example, or joining a group that maybe it's a group that like meets and talks about astrology. So there might also be like an element of seeking knowledge together with other people. Venus will square Saturn in your 8th house on the 18th. So some of these aspirations, some of these new attractions to being a biker will get tested by 8th house matters. So finances you share with other people, any debts you have to other people, any entanglements and obligations and financial matters that are holding you back somehow. So let's say you decide to start a new job or start a business, or fully move your business to social media. With the square to Saturn, there might be a question of like, do you have enough resources? Do you have enough freedom? Or do you have a small child that you have to take care of, that you are not fully able to go after things you desire? So pursue the excitement, but be mindful because Saturn is right around the corner. Saturn is lurking. Saturn is like excited about teaching you the lesson, and he will shortly after. For Leo rising, Venus conjoins Uranus in the 10th house. So this is exciting for professional matters. Maybe you're bringing new ideas to work. Maybe it's something to do with social media, with like new creative approach, with a unique fashion. You're just sort of like on fire, right? You have new ideas. You are reimagining. You're like, there is a desire to break away from the old and find independence. There might be a change in status professionally where you get a promotion, you get a raise, something exciting. That might be a moment of like breakthrough professionally. At the same time, a week after this square, this conjunction, Venus squares Saturn. So on the 18th, Venus will square Saturn, and Saturn is in your house of relationships. So that will be a challenge. That will be the moment where you may have to make some tough choices between your relationship and the needs of your relationship versus your professional opportunities. So a very, checking, testing time when you have to decide how do you proceed towards your goals and towards your ambitions, but still take care of duties and obligations and commitments you have to others. For Virgo rising, Venus conjoins Uranus in the 9th house. And 9th house deals with beliefs, philosophies, education, and I wonder, if you decide to like learn about your sexuality, maybe you're suddenly like drawn to watch a video about Tantra or like learn more about different countries and their philosophies when it comes to sex and romance. There might be just like unique attraction to someone foreign or attraction to unique foreign things. Like maybe you're finding outfits or materials like, I don't know, clothes from Japan very fascinating, or something else. Like suddenly there's your understanding of beauty changes, your understanding of art changes. Maybe new beginnings, especially something connected to like creativity, art, love, that are connected to foreign lands, like traveling to study, getting a chance to travel, or dating someone who's foreign. Maybe you go on a trip and you meet someone and now you are in a long distance relationship. Then of course, as I've been talking, Saturn will get in the mix, and on June 18th, Venus will square Saturn. So these new beginnings, these new exciting things will get tested against your daily life and your work and your professional responsibilities, and maybe things that ground you. And there might be a sense of like, you want to pursue this new study and you want to travel to Bali to go on a yoga retreat, but then there's all these work responsibilities. There's like a certain health matter you have to attend to. There's a hurdle you have to overcome. And there might also be, this might show up as a tendency to get locked in the negative thinking, or a tendency to get locked in the old way of looking at things. Being too skeptical or too realistic and not allowing yourself to explore. So watch out for that. For Libra rising, Venus conjoins Uranus in the 8th house. So breakthroughs when it comes to therapy, breakthroughs when it comes to working with other people, possibly opportunities to pay off a debt, and maybe, there might be something coming into your life, like a sudden opportunity, a sudden partnership, a new beginning. And maybe it's a contract, so maybe you're signing something, or maybe you're agreeing to something that is a long-term commitment, or it will connect you to another person, but it will free you in some other regard. Like it will require a lot of work, it will require a lot of balancing and negotiating, but it will give you more financial independence. Or you may be breaking away from a relationship, you may be breaking away from a dependency, and that could be an unhealthy habit or an actual debt. You may be paying off a debt and now you're kind of breathing away free. But I wonder, I kind of feel like there might be, to me, it feels more like tying yourself to other people, but doing so for the sake of freedom. And then Venus will square Saturn on the 18th, and Saturn is in your 5th house. So this is like, yes, there's an exciting opportunity. You're starting something new. You're seeking freedom. But what is this going to cost you? Because Saturn is in the 5th house, and Saturn is saying you have to sacrifice something likely. You may not get all the fun that you want. You may not get all the romance that you want. You may postpone some of your plans to have kids, even possibly. in order to get that partnership, that new project off the ground. So be really careful. Watch out for the partnerships you're getting involved in, things that you're starting up, because, you know, everything comes at a cost. For Scorpio rising, Venus conjoins Uranus in the 7th house. So this is very much classical Venus-Uranus. 7th house is the place of romance. Venus-Uranus in the 7th house brings romantic breakdowns, right? Let's start with the negative first. If the relationship feels dissatisfying, if the relationship has been slowly eating away at your happiness, this might be the time when it's time to say goodbye. It might be the time when you're like, I want freedom. I can't anymore. I need to go and be in an open relationship. Or this is the time when something breaks in your relationship that allows you to see each other in a new light, and suddenly you find yourself infatuated with your partner all over again. So some kind of exciting new beginning, new air of like excitement in your relationship, a desire to experiment sexually, desire to experiment in the business, possibly also an opportunity coming to you when it comes to business. This may show up through a partner, whether it's you or the partner. Maybe you're feeling perfectly fine and secure, but then your partner suddenly says that they want to take a job opportunity and it will make them travel 50% of the year. And this is the moment that your relationship gets kind of tested. A partner may surprise you with something that will also be like, well, you said, in sickness and health, in good thinking and bad thinking, and you're supposed to be like, now you're supposed to like handle this. Venus will square Saturn on the 18th. Saturn is in your 4th house of home and family. So your new beginnings in your relationships will be kind of tested by the home and family matters. Maybe you're starting an open relationship, but then family is like against it and telling you that you're supposed to let them go. Maybe you find out something about your partner that involves home and family, like, maybe they have a secret past connected to their family. The drama that's in my head. If you are dealing with any like family issues, with any issues with your mother, let's say, with any pressures connected to renovation project, that might put a strain on your relationship. And also kind of like, like if your partner does decide to travel half of the year, and then Saturn comes in and it's like, okay, well, if you're traveling, we need to figure out how do we take care of our children. We have all these responsibilities together. So you may have to handle that and any matters related to your home situation as well. For Sag rising, Venus conjoins Uranus in the 6th house. So 6th house deals with your daily routines, your work life, the problem solving, and serving something else. So with Venus conjunct Uranus, there might be a change in your daily routines. Maybe you get a new job, maybe you get pregnant, right? There's like a lot of action in your house of children, and that creates like this major exciting new change in your life. There might be breakthroughs at work when it comes to things that you're doing, and health changes as well. But it also feels like freeing yourself from something that feels like a burden, very much. And then Venus squares Saturn in the 3rd house on the 18th. So you may have to deal with if you do break away from something professionally, Saturn in the 3rd house might ask you, do you have enough skills to pursue this new thing? There might be scheduling things you have to figure out. Like if you decide to become a parent, right? Like then it's all about like, do you have enough Do you have enough resources? Do you have enough time for that? How do you need to readjust your schedule? What do you need to say no to, and what kind of sacrifices do you have to make? For Capricorn rising, Venus conjoins Uranus in the 5th house, more possibilities of pregnancy. So 5th house is joy, romance, creativity, children. So definitely finding out about pregnancy is a possibility. It's also very much the time when you come up with a new creative idea, you experience some kind of breakthrough, you find new things attractive, new people attractive, you're more willing to experiment and go and do something new for fun, go out to a club, and normally, like, let's say you were never into the club scene, and maybe experimenting with things that are fun. Be careful, as always, that you're not overindulging, that you're not getting tied and tangled up in some kind of challenging, tough dynamic, right? Like, if you're going out and you're partying and, you know, you're doing substances, make sure there's like a friend, a buddy next to you, someone who can watch over you. So like, yeah, be careful, because Venus will square Saturn on the 18th. And so this experimentation, this desire for new things will be checked against your values, whether things you're pursuing are things that you truly care about and things you're truly willing to invest energy into, and your finances. So if you're like signing up to do this new creative project that is amazing and puts you in the spotlight, when Venus squares Saturn, you realize that this will take all of your time and this pays almost no money. So you'll have to do some careful balancing and perhaps redefine what matters to you. So be careful saying yes to things really quickly. For Aqua risings, Venus conjoins Uranus in the 4th house. So Venus, Uranus in the 4th, some kind of changes to your home design. Maybe you are moving, you're finding a new place, you're moving to a place that's like, I don't know, all one space with a bathroom in the middle of the room. There might just be some kind of exciting new blood, new air. You're coloring the walls purple in your home, revolutionizing the idea of beauty at home. There might also be breakthroughs and desire to separate from your family, desire to move away, start your own life, letting go of some family karma, right? Like Venus conjunct Uranus could be, this is not me, this is your past, this is your baggage, doesn't define me. And then on the 18th, Venus will square Saturn in your 1st house. So somehow, right, like this new blood, new beginning, new excitement things will get tested against your own will and abilities and responsibilities. Perhaps you see yourself as this person who's always responsible and who's always, you know, taking care of other people, and now doing this for yourself feels unhealthy or feels selfish, right? Like there might be a little bit of that, like, well, am I pursuing things, especially around topics of parents and parenting and being a caregiver, a caretaker. There might be a change in status that might make you feel unsure, and it will make you perhaps deal with topics of like letting go of control and embracing more freedom and embracing a new role, but first making changes. And finally, for Pisces rising, Venus conjoins Uranus in the 3rd house. So you can expect technological changes, right? Like your 3rd house is everything you use on a daily basis, your car, your technology, your phone. So Venus conjoins Uranus and you get a new piece of tech. Maybe you get like an Apple Watch, something new. Maybe you just upgrade your technology. Maybe it's time to change your car. There might be communication breakthroughs, as in something has been on your mind and you have been postponing, as well as, of course, like, you know, communication breakdowns, like a need to change communication, need to like get a new phone or set up some kind of like new scheduling system that will be innovative and will make your life easier somehow. There might be a desire to learn a new skill, maybe, you know, become a dancer, or yeah, like take up pole dancing classes or something. And maybe changes in your relationship with your siblings and your neighbors. Something new happening in your neighborhood, you somehow get involved. Maybe a relationship with a sibling gets better. Maybe you have a conversation with them that makes you understand where they're coming from. Like if you had a falling out, suddenly you like understand them, they understand you. So definitely a possibility of like breakthroughs. But of course, you know, there can also be breakdowns, as always, with Uranus. You cannot predict what's happening with Uranus. Let me know if this resonates. And then also, Venus will square Saturn in your 12th house on the 18th. So Saturn in the 12th is going to ask you, are you doing the work? Like, you know, Venus, Uranus in the third house could be also like wanting to learn new things, wanting to write something, wanting to start like a new job or do something in your neighborhood, get involved more. And then Saturn in the 12th might be like, well, are you working on yourself? Or on the negative, Saturn can create doubts, can bring some kind of self-sabotage. So watch out for that. Pay attention to how you're being. If you're being self-destructive, if you're standing in your own way, might be the time to like talk to a therapist or a trusted friend in order to help you get past it. So this is it. It's an interesting transit, definitely one of the more important transits in June. I hope it goes well for you and enjoy the energy. Talk to you soon. Bye.